Hey, what's up, Greensteaders? I'm Warren.
I'm Jill.
I'm from the Arizona Homestead Project, so is she.
And Jill, me, I'm from Jill's Homestead Experience.
Hey, we've got some exciting things to talk to you about. We're always excited about talking about why we're out here and what we're doing. So stay tuned and we'll get right back to you.
See ya.
See, for me it all started back in 2008 when I saw a movie called Food Inc. And when I met Jill, she had a lot of catching up to do with where I was, but she'd already had the same mindset, right?
Yes, making things from scratch and, you know,
canning
and preserving our foods.
Growing our own food.
Yeah.
We raised chickens and ducks and guineas and
oh my
geese, turkeys. Yeah. We've raised a lot of fowl.
No four-leggers yet until we moved here.
Yeah. But yeah, why we wanted to do this was just to have a self-sufficient lifestyle, you know, that we could depend on ourselves. If, you know, look at the current situation now with coronavirus and everything that's going on out there. I mean, if you lost your job because of this, you know, the virus, then, you know, how are you going to support yourself? How are you going to eat? I mean, the basics in life, you can't even cover a lot of people. So that's just the kind of thing that we want, is just to have that security of having our own thing. That's why we have the animals, you know, the chickens and the goats, and you
just
know,
being self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, exactly. So and the freedom to not be a slave to a mortgage and payments on things, you know, it just, like I said, we have zero debt. So that's a question we get from most people. Why would you want to live out there?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we both grew up in Southern California, and I have an affinity for the desert. I actually raced desert for many years. I've been riding in the desert for many years. You know, I moved out to Oklahoma to start, you know, getting started on this sustainable lifestyle. And, you know, although it was beautiful out there, it was nice, lush green, I'm pretty fair-skinned, and man, the chiggers used to eat me up, the mosquitoes and other bugs that I just don't even know in God's green creation where they'd come from. But man, they used to just tear me up. Probably the other big problem is the tornadoes. I just really hated tornadoes. Those were just too freaky.
Unpredictable.
Yes. So for me, I've actually loved the desert. It's a place I've always wanted to end up retiring in. I mean, I've drawn plans for this since I was in my teens about how I was going to retire out in the desert someday. So, you know, I went on a quest to find property in the desert. We'll get back on that in a second. What's your reason for the desert, Jill?
Well, like he said, we grew up in California.
Southern
California, and but my parents and, you know, just a family reunion, camping in the desert all the time, and I just fell in love with it. Just the atmosphere and everything else. And we mostly camped in, you know, California, but just it was just nice. It was like a home away from home kind of thing for me living here, I think. So it's like we're camping now.
We're permanently camping.
Yeah. My dad and I went camping one time, just him and I, and this rock looked like a butt, basically, had it split down the middle. My dad plugged his radio in, and he says, one day when I was out here by myself, this big lightning bolt hit this rock. So he turned on his radio, and his radio worked. I thought I was amazed, you know, a 9-year-old kid going, oh my God, he's right, you know, kind of thing. So, and then after he went off to cook something or whatever, I looked and he had batteries in the radio. So he told me that was electricity hit that rock, and that's what happens, you know. So I'm looking for that rock.
But anyway, enough of that. So more specifically, why the desert? I say why not, you know?
Yeah.
We went out in a semi truck together for what, almost 3 months?
Yeah.
Traveled all over the country, you know, while we were trying to figure out where we wanted to go. See, the property we were living on, we were leasing, and we knew that was going to run out eventually. So we started looking for our own property. Again, we didn't want to be concerned that one day landlord tells you you got to move, or, you know, having conflicts with the landlord or something like that. So we wanted to do our own thing. So yeah, we love the desert, and then, you know, we found this place here in Cochise County, and Cochise County, I tell you, it's got a lot to offer here. Yeah. You know, I was asked recently, what are the downfalls of being a trucker and living this lifestyle out here in you know, homesteading, and what are the benefits? Well, I would say there really are no downfalls. The only downfall I have is that I have to leave to go make some money once in a while. That's the only downfall. But at least I don't have to leave every day, and I could be home as long as I want, money permitting.
Right.
But the benefits are huge. Again, like I mentioned, I got time off whenever I want. You know, I'm not working for a company where they keep you going, go, 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 which probably some other truckers out there are going to go, well, that's not the way it is for me. Well, that's the way it is for me in the way I chose to go about trucking. So that is out there. I'm lucky in that respect that I found that path early in my trucking career. But I mean, the benefits is, look, we're sitting here in front of my truck at home. You know, in the city, couldn't bring my truck home. The closest place I was able to park it was 50 miles away. When we lived in California, I lived in Huntington Beach. It was like 50, 60 miles away. I had to park it out in Fontana. That made me not want to get home very often, you know. It's just a hassle to go home, But I digress, because we were talking about, you know, trucking. There hasn't been a negative to homesteading with the trucking. I can just take off from here and go anywhere in the country and pick a load, you know. And I'd say it's been beneficial actually to be a trucker and not have to worry about a job.
Yeah. But when I moved here, you know, it was kind of hard in the beginning, of course, you know, Nuke's town and all that stuff, to find a job. And of course, Douglas Schools, you know, hired me on, and that's it. And that's all she wrote, basically. And I've been with them for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah. But so even in Oklahoma, we lived on that 6 acres where we were practice homesteading out there, so to speak. We were learning things, you know.
Pre-homesteading, is that what it's called?
To me, that was like it was a learning curve, because
what not to do?
What to do and what worked and what didn't work, you know, just while you still had systems around you that could support you if that didn't work. Like, we had a ready supply of water and electricity and gas, and, you know, so we tried water catchment, we tried, you know, water systems to, you know, to feed the house, and, you know, different ways of cooking and canning and preserving food. I think that's the best thing you could do, is to test all your systems out now. Well, now I'm starting to come from a prepper standpoint, because I'm also somewhat of a prepper. I don't call myself a prepper, I call myself a prepsteader, because as a prepper, you know, you could be in the city or, you know, any place like that, and you don't know if your, you know, water purification systems are going to work or not. I would say that you want to test all your systems while you still have infrastructure, while you still have doctors that can help you if you really screwed up bad on something, you know what I mean? And but learn that stuff and put it into practice, and that's what we do out here on Homestead every day. Look at these two, they're in love. We just don't want to have babies in December. So let us introduce you to the flock. This one right here, she's Penny. She was kind of a bee when we first got her. She ended up being the sweetest goat. And that's Rose. And that's Iris. And those are our females. And so these are primarily going to be for milk and for kidding, so we can raise some meat goats. And these are Nubians. And the reason why we picked Nubians was because look how big their ears are.
We love floppy ears.
Yeah. But there's a lot of veins running through those. Hey, let go of the camera. There's a lot of veins running through those ears, so it helps them to cool down. Now these are the boys. They're both Nubians. What do you think, boys? You go, boy. These guys are for breeding the girls. Hey, what are you doing? And this one here, this one's Hope. She's kind of a meanie, but that's all right. You know, we are raising them for food, and this girl here, she's a meat goat. So she's gonna go in the freezer here in another 2 weeks. Then we got, I hate to walk in between her like this. Whoops. We got meat chickens in here somewhere. There they all are. But don't move anything. We got some meat chickens in there. That's not how we normally raise them, and we don't want to raise them that way. We want natural. Those meat birds, they're just kind of nasty. They are bred to be big, and they can't hardly walk. We like chickens to forage. So I know in other parts of our video that we've been doing so far, you've probably been hearing all the chickens out here. And we've got a rooster. That's our rooster right there. I don't know if you can see it. But we've got regular chickens as well, not meat chickens. And we also are doing this whole gardening thing. This is the first tree we planted here. I just stuck it in the dirt, didn't think it would live. 2 years later, man, we got a ton of apricots off of it this year.
Oh yeah.
And
debating on what to make with them.
but we've got all sorts of stuff in our garden. Tell you what, I'll let Jill take it from here and tell you what she's got going.
All right. This is corn. I planted this in the end of June, I think. We got some cucumber growing here. This moringa seed just decided to sprout in my compost dirt.
Oh yeah, we want to grow moringa, that's for sure.
So this is a moringa tree. This is watermelon. And of course, sorry, but that is pomegranate, oregano, parsley. I forgot.
Stuff. That's stuff.
This is romaine lettuce seeding. This is our celery growing. I got my sweet potatoes growing. Soon I will be trimming off the little pink stems and rooting them, and that's where you get the sweet potato from. And of course that's sage and thyme, and this is more watermelon. I grow watermelon mostly for us, of course, and the chickens. Blackberry and onion and raspberries, grapes, tomatoes, and poblano peppers. And there's a watermelon vine growing in there. And this is acorn squash. And there is purple cabbage in there, or red cabbage. And rosemary down on the ground.
Love my rosemary.
Um,
Well, you got mint in here too, right?
yeah, the
To
smell.
help.
This, yeah, to
help with the bugs and stuff.
Yeah, and catnip too. Helps anything that smells.
Helps
like
with the cat.
Rosemary. Helps with the cat, yes. Oh, and that's my elderberry bush over there.
Yep. And this is the apricot tree.
Don't forget my pear tree.
Oh yeah, and the pear tree that we had this nest in here. See that? We had 3 little eggs in there and they disappeared this morning, so I think a predator might have got them. Speaking of eggs, we're incubating our own eggs here as well. This is more the way we want to do it for sustainability. We want to be able to hatch our own eggs. You can't just call a hatchery in a grid down situation or collapse of society or something like that. So this, and also if you're trying to stay out of debt and keep your outgo for money flow low, you want to be able to just grow your own chickens, not have to call a hatchery. I mean, hatch your own chickens, not have to grow a hatchery. Call a hatchery. So back to sustainability, we've got this field out here. And this is a pretty unique field. And we've probably got about, we've got a total of 20 acres out here. And this grass area probably covers about maybe 12 acres of it. And it's kind of a unique situation because see these mountains over here? Even if we don't get rain here, the mountains, if it rains back there in the mountains, there's a big old wash and it comes all the way down across. And I don't know if you can see that telephone pole off there in the distance, or should I say power pole. We got part of the wash comes there, part of it comes over here, and part of it comes over here, and we've got a big old ditch on the other side of the road. This big old ditch along here is where that hits. It spreads out and then it flows all the way across this road evenly and ends up out in that field. So our property starts about that telephone pole right there and goes all the way to the 1, 2, 3, the 4th telephone pole down there, if you could count that. Anyway, that water comes across here pretty smooth. And so what we want to do is we're going to start using Jeff Lawton.
Jeff Lawton is awesome.
We're going to start using a lot of his theories and practices with berms and basins and swells on contour throughout this whole, you can see all the kind of pasture land I have out here. And eventually that's where the chickens and the goats will all live, and they'll get moved around on the property to help, green up the desert, help produce some greenery. Now, I've been working it since we got out here a couple years ago, and it's come a long way from what it was. In fact, you see the greenest area right there is where last year we planted a bunch of black-eyed peas, and just let nature do its thing, and that really has stayed green where the rest of it's kind of still brownish, but we're getting there. It's the biggest problem is having time to do it when you got all this other stuff going on at the same time. And Jim, I don't know how you do it, but good on you for being able to do it. All right, y'all. We hope that you've enjoyed getting to know us a little bit in our tour of what we've got going on out here and what the possibilities could be. The wonderful thing about homesteading is it's an individual thing. It's not,
yes,
there's not a written plan that you've got to follow these steps. It's as individual as all of you are. So, just figured out what we like the desert. That fits, that works for us. You might like West Virginia, and that works for you. That's fine. But I would recommend that no matter what you do something. If it's for getting that Starbucks, once a week and just buy a can of food and a gallon of water and store it in the closet. It's about being prepared for the harsh times, like this COVID thing. If you'd put a gallon of water away a week, for the last year you'd have 52 gallons of water stored up. Just kind of look at it that way. Always do something, be doing a little bit of something, you know, for your future and to help you. Until next time,
See y'all soon.
see y'all soon.